Quick question for you. How many mates have you got? Like, just mates. Count those in your head right now. Now, how many of those mates can you call at 2 o'clock in the morning when shit hits the fan and they come? See, most of the men I speak to have got that first list covered. Got loads of pals, loads of WhatsApp groups, loads of blokes that we go to the pub for a pint with. But the second list, for a lot of men, is short and sometimes completely empty. So today's episode is a little bit different. It's not a guest. This is my best mate, Phil, and co-founder of this podcast, Safe Harbour. We created Safe Harbour as a place for men to come and settle, sit and share what they were going through. So today we're going to talk about friendship. Why it was so easy when we were kids to make friends, but being an adult, it's a minefield. Why we can open up to a complete stranger in a bar or by a swimming pool on holiday, but completely freeze up when we're back home and trying to make new friends and create brotherhoods. And the difference between the pals we collect and the brothers we yearn for. We speak about my journey and our friendship, me and Phil, the stuff I went through losing my mom a few years ago, and the connection that Phil and I have had using WhatsApp audio, and all of these great things that Phil and I have built our friendship around. We're going to share those with you because when I needed Phil, he's always been there. He's the kind of friend I can call at 2 a.m. in the morning. So this episode is for you. If you've got loads of pals, but you yearn for brothers, stay tuned. Me, Jamie Robbins, and Phil Askew. Okay, here we are. Phil Askew, the OG. We are the OGs of Safe Harbour. How you doing, man?
Good. Very glad to be back, having a conversation with you, my friend.
We just had a few minutes of corpsing like we normally do, like from the early days.
I don't know what it is. You know, some people just come together and it just feels like naughty schoolboys. I'm going to laugh immediately the minute
we are always quite like, because we're mates now for a long time. We're going to talk about friendship today. I think that's probably going to be the topic. And we've been mates for ages now. And I think when we get together, we are like two naughty teenagers, aren't we?
Always.
And it will probably come out in this episode. I remember when we were doing, so just for anybody who's new listening to Safe Harbour, Phil and I started Safe Harbour in COVID, wasn't it? As a response to men struggling in COVID times. And we thought we'd create a talking circle space for men to come in and share how they were feeling, right? Which went on for quite some time. And then that transitioned then into, we said, why don't we start a podcast for men? We'll just hit record for half an hour and just talk about addiction, talk about, what else did we talk about? How to listen. All those great episodes, they're like the original ones, aren't they? And yeah. But we would always, it would take us half an hour sometimes, wouldn't it, to get started.
I think it would take us a good hour for a half an hour podcast. We'd have to allow an hour of window of opportunity for it to arise in that time.
Yeah. What is that, do you reckon?
I don't know. I think it's just, it's a dynamic, it's a chemistry that you and I have together, isn't it? It's kind of, we bounce off each other. And I think there's a lovely sort of, it's almost like electricity that happens between us. And I've always known that about you. And it's like, you bring that out in me, and I think I bring that out in you too. It keeps our relationship alive, I think.
Yeah, it does. And like, how long have we been mates now? I was trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm trying to think about when COVID actually first kicked off. The first lockdown, wasn't it like
2019?
Yeah.
2019. COVID-19.
Hence COVID-19, right? The clue's in the name. Yeah.
It's good how they did that. I thought that was quite a clever idea.
We don't want 26. Forget it.
Nah, COVID-26, that'd be cool.
Well, I do remember actually it was 2020 because actually COVID-19 was when it was first discovered, apparently. Yeah. It was actually 2020. So I remember you and I being two male coaches who were working with individuals who were struggling with COVID, and we were struggling with the enormity of this thing we've never seen before. I was personally feeling my clients were completely overwhelmed at the prospect of what this thing was, because we'd never experienced this before in our lifetime. So clients were coming in, and I noticed that even though we were working on different subjects together, everything would go to the background, and everything would come to the fore about the enormity of this COVID-19 thing. So I think you and I got together and thought, right, let's create a podcast. Let's you and I come together, have conversations about what it means to be a man, what it means to be a man in this kind of circumstance where we feel overwhelmed, and how are we coping with it or not? And hence, how can other people cope with this as well if it's a possibility.
Yeah, and it just really hit a nerve, didn't it? And I'd really loved doing it. I'd never done a podcast before. I'd never really got in front of a camera before. This was before I started my TikTok, wasn't it? And Instagram. I remember getting really nervous about it, like I was going on stage or something. Like feeling nervous about supporting these men. Are we going to be able to say the right thing? And is this going to work? But we just got into a flow. And great thing about podcasts is, I think it's like listening into a couple of mates hanging out, isn't it? Over the other side of a diner table. You're just sort of listening in and go, this is an interesting conversation, what they're talking about. And we talked about some really rich things, didn't we?
That was always our style as well, wasn't it? I think we set that intention from the beginning. We didn't want to be kind of interviewing each other. Like, we wanted to have a conversation, because this is how we kind of checked in with each other on WhatsApp audio memos anyway, wasn't it? So we wanted to do something real time and have a conversation.
Yeah.
To have it be real, so people could join us, like as if they were sitting around the fire with us.
Yeah, like the name, you came up with the name Safe Harbour, didn't you? Like, this is a moment to come in out of the storm, sit with a cup of tea or a glass of rum, like sailors do, and just talk and just share. So I think today, what's been coming up for me a lot recently, and a lot of the clients that I talk to, and a lot of the messages I get on my social media feeds around friendship and around connection, and around male connection, especially, obviously, because I'm a men's coach. And some posts that I do that talk about, make sure you check in with your mate, and make sure you talk to your mate. And I often get messages from blokes saying, that would be nice, I don't have any mates. And that really, that really hits me. I really feel that in my heart. It makes me... So I think that for me today, that's the theme, if there is a theme, around friendship, and talking about our friendship and how we met, and how that's developed over the 5 years that we've known each other. And I think that would be a great conversation for other men to sort of to hear what our journey has been, and how we've come to this place, and the work that we do. And and loneliness, male loneliness is a huge thing. It's a big thing, I think, that leads to a lot of the men checking out, the suicide rate that we have. Loneliness is a thing. And I think a lot of men don't know how to make friendships. There's no rule book to it, is there? There's no like guidebook to go and make new friends. What lands for you when I say all that?
Well, there's so much in there, isn't there? I think particularly what I'm really fascinated about is friendship between males, definitely. Between older males, or males who are sort of middle-aged and older. Because I think for me, the way I used to make friendships was the place I work. I would go to work, and then we'd meet drinking coffee, or we'd make a coffee, and then I bump into colleagues and people like that. And then we go out for social drinks afterwards. And suddenly there's this person I'm sat near in my office as well, and I'm starting to make connections with him. Oh, I got that CD you wanted, I'll lend it you. That sort of thing. Back in the day. And then friendships formed because of this context, or the similarity of things that we discovered through being in the same space. But what I noticed, obviously, after COVID and being self-employed for so long, since 2010, I work a great deal on my own. So it's actually, I wouldn't know how to start friendships now in quite as easy a smooth way as I did back then, because almost you formulate those friendships just through working together, and the people that you resonate with and you vibe with. But loneliness off the back of that as well is a real thing, particularly if you're self-employed. And particularly, so I'm 54 now. I noticed that fortunately I'm in a really great relationship, and I have a really good sense of not only friendship, but like love and partnership there as well. But there's a real sense of like, well, where do I point myself in order to find my people now? And I feel really fortunate, but I worry about those guys who haven't necessarily got a place to point themselves.
Yeah, I'm thinking back to like childhood. Friendship was easy when I was a kid. You see, in fact, they do memes about them, don't they? Like, like imagine they do grown-ups, don't they? There's this guy that they're two grown-ups in a park and they meet, but they're doing it from the perspective of being like 7-year-olds. Have you seen those? Because 7-year-olds don't think about. They're not. It's not as sophisticated as that, is it? Like two 7-year-old boys meet in a park and they never met each other. They just go, "Do you want to kick a football around?" And the other one goes, "Yeah, all right." Not with that deep voice, because that'd be weird, 7. But, they just connect, don't they? And same with girls. You see them play, because it's all based around play, and there's no expectation of, what does he think about me? Does he think I'm cool? Does he think I'm this? Am I being this enough? Am I being that enough? It's like, just thinking back to when I was a kid, I remember having loads of mates getting on my BMX and just cycling around, just knock on someone's door. Is your Tony in? No, he's not in. Down the park. All right. I get on my bike, cycle off, go in so-and-so's house. Do. Is your Dave in? No, he's down the park. So you're kind of building evidence of where everyone is. And then eventually, you knock on 3 lads' doors and they're all down the park. So you go to the park, or go and play football, kick a football around. Easy, right? But we can't do that now. I say we can't do that, I notice. It's interesting, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it also reminds me, when you say that, it reminds me of mates you discover for a short periods of time when you go on holiday or something. Like I used to go to the Isle of Wight, to see my grandparents, and we used to spend the day on the beach, and then I'd be sort of playing with some toys or whatever, going to sea a little bit, and then there'll be someone kicking a ball or something, usually, or building sandcastles, and I just wander over, or he or she wanders over to me, and then suddenly you've got a new mate for the day.
For the whole week when you're on holiday.
Or the whole week, yeah, exactly. And it feels really nice. It feels really, when I say nice, it feels really easy and not naive, that's the wrong word. It's just easy. There was flow, wasn't it? It's almost like we feel like we can't do that. I feel like I can't do that as an adult now. I couldn't just go out and just chat to someone, some guy somewhere, or, and just say, all right, yeah, do you want to hang out? And it's all sorts of weird layers. There's all sorts of weird layers. Yeah, I know. As an adult, 6 foot 4 adult.
My reaction was, that's fucking weird. You can't just walk up to someone and, all right, mate. Do
you want to hang out?
It's like, do you want to grab a pint and go and hang out? They go, what? Who are you?
Yeah. Step away. Back up. But do you want
to share Facebook accounts?
So what's the difference between those two circumstances?
Great question. I think loads of layers of good enoughs and protection and trust. Who's this guy? I don't know you. Never met you before. And it's a complete stranger. Didn't have that as kids, and I wonder. I guess when it started to shift for me was probably when I hit teenager or puberty. But one of the things you said there about going to Isle of Wight, right? So, this is true. How many times have you been on holiday, as an adult, sat around a swimming pool in a hotel, and the people come up next to you, put their towel on the thing, you're there with your girlfriend, and they go, all right. They go, all right, how you doing, mate? You all right? Where are you from? London. Ah, we're from London. And that's it. Boomf. In. Done. And then for the rest of the day, you're hanging out, you're having drinks by the pool, then you go for dinner in the restaurant, and then you get to know these people for an entire week. And you chances are you never ever see them again. But that happens, that level of connection. So what's the difference between that round a swimming pool in a setting in a hotel versus you in Spoons stood next to a guy at the bar?
What are you seeing? Yeah.
All right,
like mate. It's my hangout.
Yeah, do you want to hang out for the afternoon? You go, what? You on about? Who the fuck are you? I'm Phil Askew. You don't recognise me?
Go on then.
What, from Safe Harbour?
Guess a Guinness, I'll be right. Yeah, let's come and see you. Yeah, no, I think that's really fascinating. I've never thought of that before. But that's happened to me as well. There's something about that which has permission, contextual permission, as in when you're on holiday, it's like, boom, I can relax. I'm not at home. I can be whoever I want to be almost. Yeah. It's like, and you can be whoever you want to be as well. And there's a sort of meeting in a little context. There's no loadedness about, will we remain friends forever? Yeah. There's like, and there's this thing, what's called Dunkirk spirit or something. Do you ever hear of that? Dunkirk spirit, which is an old UK or London, England thing where in the war, there was a sense of people came together and looked out for each other. World War II, and there was this thing called Dunkirk spirit, you're all unifying, you're all kind of rallying around the fact that you're being attacked and invaded, and suddenly you step up for each other. Yeah. And I think there's a real sense of looking out for each other. It happened in 9/11 as well. There's a real sense of everyone, okay, now we're rallying together because of the enormity of this circumstance.
COVID,
exactly, yeah. Although, unfortunately, that meant that we were so disparate and disconnected that we couldn't necessarily do that apart from on Zoom. But all the things popping up on Zoom and people jumping into people's rooms and just sort of seeing what's going on. And there was a lot more kind of, there was a lot more cohesion and people coming together.
Yeah. But there is this yearning for connection still underneath all of it. From me going and knocking on my mates' doors on my BMX on a Saturday afternoon to me stood at the bar asking a guy if he wants to have a pint with me in spoons. It's always spoons. We love spoons, don't we?
Everyone has a different carpet, you know. Everyone's unique.
Really? Every carpet in spoons is different?
Every single one. You'll be looking now.
But they're all sticky.
They're all sticky.
That's what they've got in common.
That's the unifying factor.
Yeah. So what's the difference there? It's permission, isn't it? You said about permission. I think permission is always important. An invitation and permission. So what feels different about being by the pool? I don't want to labor on this thing, but I think it's important because I think it's like the unlocking part to knowing why we can't connect on these levels with complete strangers. I mean, Andy's Man Club, for example, is a great way to meet other men, like-minded men who are thinking, right, I need to go and meet some other blokes or any men's circle, and sit in a circle, have some tea, connect. And that the reason that works is permission and safety. They're the two things that allows men to open up and create a really strong connection very quickly. And you know that from doing men's circles as well with the guys that you meet with. It creates an opportunity to go underneath that surface level, doesn't it? And I wonder if that's the surface level bit that men are afraid of. If the Wetherspoons piece, a complete stranger comes up to you and goes, "All right, mate, you're busy. Fancy having a pint? Fancy having a pint with me out the back?" I don't know why we're around the back now. Because there's not safety there. There's no safety there. Well, there's no cameras for a start. You know what I mean? So is it because there's no safety?
I think it's about context. I've been thinking about that as you've been talking. I think the context of it and the intention of it and the clarity of what this is, as in, if you were going to go for a meetup around films, sci-fi films, like a sci-fi convention, you get together and you know why you're going because you have this shared interest that you're going together. It's like you're all arrows are pointing at that and you're coming together, and rather than pointing at each other and going, this is me, this is you, we need to get to know each other, have we got anything in common, which is probably too vulnerable. Yes. Whereas this is like, we're all coming together over this unifying factor of sci-fi. Yeah. Fucking amazing. Brilliant. And then when you're there, you're standing next to the person going, oh yeah, look, it's Mark Hamill. Look, Mark Hamill's coming to say, I know, man, it's amazing. So you're all looking in the same direction, and it's less vulnerable than going, hi, I'm Phil, do you want a pint? I think there's something about that. Like with you setting up Andy's Man Club, which is a phenomenal thing and well done. It's incredible. The context of it is very clear. We are men only. We come together. We sit together. These are the kind of things we talk about. This is what it looks and feels like. And then once they're primed for it, then guys will show up. And because it's in a circle, my assumption is it doesn't feel like there's that awkwardness of one-to-one.
Yeah. Yeah. We're all facing in, but in a in a unifying way. Like men have been sitting around fires since we were cavemen, literally.
Yeah.
It replicates that, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
And it's safe and it's an inclusive. And there's no fixing and there's no judgment.
So you've set those rules up front, right? There's a context to that engagement.
Yeah.
So you know what you're going to get. There's no surprises. I do get a sense that there's a lot of fear and anticipation about what might or might not be said. So if you can sort of create that container where everything is spoken clearly to what's going to happen and what is allowable, what's not allowable, then I think it feels a lot safer to be yourself and show up in a space like that.
So going back to the Wetherspoons thing, so there's no safety there. It's not safe. There's too much surprise.
Unless you created something within Wetherspoons where it was like kind of like, I don't know, a men's circle within Wetherspoons on a Thursday afternoon, 3 till 6. This is what it's going to be. It's going to be in the spoons, soft drinks only. You show up. This would be the corner for it, and you meet, and this is what we'll be doing. You'd have to do some work around wording that right, but then there's an intention behind it, and then it actually, I understand why I'm there.
So friendship needs safety and context and a holding of some sort in the beginning.
Otherwise, I think it helps to form friendships in that way. Like, you do an incredible thing, which I've learned a lot from you around this, which is when you come down to that London, when you come to London and you're like walking out in the streets on the South Bank with me or Covent Garden or wherever, you're like, all right. And they're like, yeah, I'm fine, thanks. And then, what's your name? Oh, it's Jane. Oh, hi, Jane. I'm Jamie. It's like, what? What are you doing? And it's phenomenal. It's only the London thing that's oppressed me to the fact where I feel like I can't do that. They think they're hitting on you, or, I couldn't possibly do that.
They'll think.
They'll think, what will they think? But it's just a story that I've made up.
Sure.
But actually, when I practice it, it's always a really lovely gift to give to the other person. And I think what that does is it bypasses all that inner voice, inner critic stuff, which says, what will they think of me? Who do they think I am? Yeah, the fear of judgment, the fear of blame. So like when I do it, I always notice that people respond incredibly well. And you taught me that.
Yeah, it's like it's daring to, isn't it? Daring to, it's a risk. It's like anything, there's a risk and there's also a reward. Where there's a risk, there's a reward. I've taught my kids, modeled that to my kids in restaurants. Whenever the waiter or waitress comes over, it's the first thing I ask. What, mate? How you doing? What's your name? Tony. Oh, thanks, Tony.
Is he very tall?
He's really tall, yeah, look.
You're not sat down, are you?
Well, if it's Dave, just go, all right, Dave, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, Dave's not that tall, is he?
And if it's Carla, hi, Carla, how are you? She's really short.
I think that's really lovely that you do that. And I remember you mentioning as well and saying how, particularly to service people who are in service and are holding space and are working in restaurants or tradespeople, particularly you spend real attention on those people, which it really touched me when you said that. I was like, that's good. Yeah, I feel the same.
Granddad taught me that by modeling that and told me, say, like, always notice the people that don't get noticed. Such a lovely thing, isn't it? The woman emptying the bins in a service station 2 days before Christmas Eve, They're the people I notice and say hello to, and you're looking forward to Christmas and whatever, It means the world. It means the world to people like that, because those people live in the shadows, And I think that's why the work that we do as coaches and helping people, that we are wired that way. We're wired for connection, aren't we? Really? I am.
Yeah.
Speak for myself.
Well, I know I need it, I know I need connection. I'm an only child, and I have always been incredibly comfortable in my own space. And I need connection. Maybe I need others less than those people who are brought up in communities or with lots of siblings, because they're used to that environment, the jostling and blah, da, 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 da. It feels too quiet if I'm away from them. But I'm an only child, and I was completely comfortable with that growing up. But then actually, I need a select few friends rather than a shit ton of friends. But I need select few friends where we can go deep, we've got each other's back, and there's a real sense of rich engagement, And I assume that I said hello to my local road sweeper this morning when I went up to my local park. I went up there at 6 a.m. and I know his silhouette a mile off. Like road sweepers are all wearing the high-vis jackets and stuff. Even though they're so bright, they're probably invisible to most people because the high-vis jacket, in fact. So he's pushing around his trolley, but I know his silhouette now, and I've never spoken to him, but I always wave to him. I'm like, all right, man, how you doing? And he's always got big headphones on because I suppose he's making the day pass quicker. And he's always like, yeah,
Yeah, that'll make his morning.
I hope so.
Connection, just to be seen, just someone to notice you.
I do hope so.
Yeah, it's like we're all craving it, 24/7 connection. I crave it all the time. I grew up with sister. I've got a sister, and all of my cousins are girls. So I grew up around girls. I was the only male energy in my growing up time. So I felt isolated, I guess, because they were all playing with dolls and I wanted to play with action men and smash things and pull heads off stuff. I used to freeze worms and then defrost them, see if they, like crazy shit like that. What boys do. Oh yeah, growing up.
So I
always felt like I was on my own, really, but I crave connection. That's what I was talking about. And I feel lonely at times. Since I got separated nearly 5 years ago.
Huh?
I went from living in a very busy household with 2 kids. My kids are 21 and 18 now, my 2 girls. So I had, 19 years of whatever it was, 18 years of busy house, you know? And then all of a sudden I was on my own, living in a mate's loft conversion. And you remember it?
I do.
You remember it. I was checking in with you every day, and we still do.
I remember the whole journey, yeah.
Yeah, and we'll come to that. But that was fucking hard. That was really hard, being on my own. Never felt lonely before up until that point. I never felt alone, ever. But, sitting in that, basically in a flat, in a tiny little bedroom at my mate's house on the run up to Christmas when I first moved out, I never felt so alone. Even though I'd got so many friends in my black book, if you like, probably 50, 60 mates, and some really good ones in my men's group and you and all, but fuck me, did I feel alone. And it was a lesson, actually. It was there to teach me something about being on my own. And I know this word resilience gets pushed around a lot, but it was a lesson in needing to be in that place for a while. I needed to feel it. I needed to be in that place to then learn the difference between loneliness and being alone. The two became different. Now I cherish time on my own. I go, it's all right. We've got the whole day on our own, like you do. We work in front of our computers and we're doing stuff and we're coaching our clients, and we'll close this meeting down and then we'll be on our own again. But there's a difference for me now between loneliness, being lonely, and being alone. I've realized the distinction between the two. And I don't feel like I go down a rabbit hole so much now. I go, oh God, I'm on my own again. I go, we've got some time on our own, Jamie. That's nice. What should we do with that time?
I think there's something came up for me there, which is always that thing, which is like, I get to do this, or I get to have time with me, which is great. As in, I get to do this. It's a conscious choice rather than I'm a victim of it.
Yeah.
If I can, sometimes I can't reframe that, but if I can frame it that way, sometimes I'm like, and what would I do if I wanted to spend quality time with myself? It would be like, we'd go for a walk in nature, probably go to a river or go into a local park and just sort of sit out, hang out, and just sort of try and breathe and just sort of show myself a little bit of kind of compassion, And then there's, I think, loneliness, which is almost like a reframe, which I feel it less these days, actually, because there's almost a sense of loneliness is a kind of like, it's a pang for asking for help. Usually for me, if I feel lonely, it's not that I'm not with people, it's that I would love some company to reflect something that I'm struggling with. And if that's loneliness for me, that's the difference. I can be on my own and do all sorts of things and be totally fine with it all day long. But if I'm struggling with something, then I don't want to be on my own, because then I go round and round in circles. And actually, I want to be with a trusted friend, someone who can actually hold space with me and just help me express what I'm feeling. Then I feel like the loneliness feeling goes away.
Yeah. Yeah, I really can connect with that. And that's what I found hard when I first moved out of my family home. And I was seeing the kids regularly and all of that stuff, but I was going through a tough time. And then my mum died a year after. And that just as I was getting back up from marriage separation and finding my feet on my own, my mum died. Do you remember? My mum died very suddenly of cancer. And that floored me again. And being on my own during that time. Wow. Being on my own in that time felt like, again, it felt like something I had to do. And I got you doing our check-ins every day, and I would sometimes leave 20-minute messages, right, of tears, and I don't know how I'm going to get through this, man. But then when I said it, I needed to be there, it was like, it was hard, but it was also really beautiful at the same time. You know, it was like, I saw it, I reframed it as a gift to feel that much grief and loss and recalibration and navigating it all by myself. Not entirely. I had support, but there was you, and I got friends, and my men's group were really great. But it felt like I grew so much during that time. I grew so much as a man. I really had to put my roots down in the ground and fall apart a lot. You know, I had to learn how to fall apart on my own, and then recover on my own, and rebuild on my own. And I think there's a lot to be said for being alone for a while, you know? It's almost like going on a pilgrimage or a vision quest. It's not easy, and it's not meant to be easy. It's meant to be hard. And then at the other side of it, we grow and we learn, and I became a different dad, a different man. It informed the work that I do. You know, it made me a better coach. It widened my range as a coach to be able to connect with men who are going through a similar thing. You know, I had to. You pushed me back into therapy. Do you remember? I was like, I remember you saying, because I refer to it often. You know, like I was leaving you a message, and then you said, and this is great friendship. Okay. You said, mate, I listen to you cry all day long. I love you, but you need to go and get a therapist again. You need to go and get a therapist again. And that was a hard truth I needed to hear in that period of loneliness and feeling alone. And I couldn't cope. I thought I could cope, but I needed you to go, right, enough, go and seek some help. And that was a good thing. Hey, how's the conversation going, man? Are you enjoying the podcast? It's a good one, isn't it? I just want to pause for a moment. I won't keep you too long. If this is hitting a nerve, then that is probably because it's not new. It's probably because something in you knows something is wanting to change, and that moment could be right now as you're watching this. You see, most men don't need more information. They just need a moment to stop and know that this is the moment. This is the moment that change happens. You can feel it in your belly, right? It's like a little mini calling that goes, okay, this is it. Now we've got to do something. Enough of standing still. Flick off the autopilot and step into this next bit. So I've created something really simple for you in the show notes, all in there. And after this amazing conversation that you're listening to in this podcast, I invite you to go in there. Take that next step. If you feel it in your body, go in there after this podcast and check it all out. It's all there for you, man. Enjoy the rest of the conversation. This is an amazing podcast, right? Enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah, that for me is what friendship is all about, isn't it? Real friendship is saying the hard truth. And it's only hard because my perception was, how's he going to feel about this? You know, it's like, and has our friendship actually been to this place before? As in, am I able to say things like this, you know, and him take it the right way? Well, yeah, we've got enough history now and enough resilience and enough range of experiences together where I feel as if I'd be doing you a disservice if I didn't suggest that, if I didn't offer that up. And something that you said there, because I've lost my parents too, something you said there, we were able to support each other in that too, weren't we? But there's a unique flavour of grief that happens for every single person, isn't there? So me losing my mum felt a certain way. My mum's sister losing her sister felt a certain way as well. And even though we came together and we helped each other out, and it was really lovely to be together in that place of combined grief, her grief was different from my grief. And so there are certain things I think we have to do alone, and that is like integration and feeling that unique flavor of grief between me and that person. And I think that's what it sounded like you needed, and what you discovered on that journey as well, like your love for your mum and the kind of flavor of grief that came off the back of losing her, you could only do on your own. Not in a lonely way, but you could only do that on your own.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree.
But I also wanted you to know that I'm here, mate. I've got your back. I'm holding you.
Yeah.
Not in an intrusive way, not in a kind, I'm here whenever you want. You know, I'm here. And I think those are the good mates to collect and bring under your wing.
Yeah, absolutely. To know that And it takes time to build that, doesn't it? A friendship. Because we've got pals. I've got pals, let's call them, let's use that word. I've got loads of pals. I've lived in Stroud best part of 20 years. You've been here on a weekend with me walking through the market. It's like, can't go 5 yards without someone going, Jamie, all right, Jamie, it's lovely. It's great. But they're all pals. I can count my brothers on one hand. Easy peasy. No more than that. There's no more than that. My brothers who have got my back, holding my rope, who have got me. And I think that's the, go on.
Just out of curiosity, what's the difference? Like, what's the difference between these guys and your pals? How do you know the difference?
That's a really interesting question, because some of those pals, if I was to nurture those friendships, they would become brothers. That's a really fascinating part that I think I've danced around the edge of, because I yearn for more brothers in my life. And yet all of these pals, there are a good handful of those pals that I know are brother material. I can have conversations.
That's a great name for a podcast.
Yeah, it's a good one, isn't it? They're brother material, because when I see them, let's say I bump into them in Stroud and go for a coffee. Do you want to grab a coffee? Yeah, I've got 10 minutes. Yeah, let's go and grab a coffee. And we just get underneath the surface and have a really rich, deep conversation about something that one of us is going through. Great listener, doesn't try and fix, asks lots of questions, inquisitive, leaves that 15 minutes having not shared anything about himself and quite happy with that. That's okay. I've just given you 15 minutes of your time for you to share with what you're going through. That's brother material for me. No, like, oh, what about me? You're not going to ask me how I'm doing? Which I can do as well. We can all do that, can't we? I guess that's the difference. And what I notice is, off of this conversation, that's where I'd like to walk towards, is to sort of nurture some more of those brother relationships. And that takes effort and time.
So it sounds like you're looking for qualities that kind of interface with you in a way where you feel as if you can be maybe more you in the space of them, in the company of them. So that you don't feel, sometimes when we're with pals or friends or mates that we don't necessarily know that well, I find personally what I hold back part of my personality for fear of judgment, for fear of it, like, will my mad ass humor land with them? Or I feel like I can't fully be me. It's a decision I've made, of course. But then when you slowly start kind of like meshing and seeing more of that person, you recognize they do understand my humor. He does get my humor. Brilliant. I can be more of me. And I can feel more relaxed in the space of that person. And then they start becoming a really good friend, because I feel like I don't have to pretend. I don't have to be anyone other than me, full permission. And I feel like I got that with you 120%. It's like, Christ, we couldn't be more. I've been all of me with you, Nothing's left out, I don't think. And that's great, because it feels like it's real fertile ground to be, he's still around and he gets me and he's not running away. And and he pushes back sometimes, as a good friend would.
That's good. And what comes up for me around that is also, what are we risking? What friendships might we be risking not having by creating that proviso? Like, as long as he gets me and my humor, then he can. Then that's a big tick. Then he can become a friend.
Which actually points back to my feeling is that one of the two people in that dynamic, in that new friendship thing, has to model bravery.
Yes.
Because in my experience, the other person has always come up to meet me. They've never gone, dickhead, what's wrong with you? They've always like, he's shown his cards. I'm going to show my cards now. Cool. Now we've got this depth and we've got this forming relationship, which is visceral, and it's like a lot more solid.
Okay. How many friends have you got? How many friendships have you got? Friends?
Not many. How many friends have you got? My dad's got a bigger dog than you. How many friends? I don't know. I've never counted it.
No, it's interesting.
I don't need many, to be honest. No. I need trusted allies who have got my back, who I love dearly. I don't need many of them, because actually it'll get really confusing if I had a load of them.
Does that relate back to you being an early child?
Maybe. Also the fact, because I have a very busy mind, and so possibly undiagnosed ADHD, but I have lots of projects, lots of things that I can entertain myself with, my work and everything. I love it. I love being immersed in that space. I probably don't have the capacity or the range in order to foster any more deep friendships than that small amount that I have.
Right. Yeah.
And I actually feel really, what's the word? You know, when you've had a drink and you feel like, quenched, the thirst is quenched. I feel like I'm on that place there. I'd love to have more experiences and meet new people, but it feels like, here we go again. You know, this is work and effort and energy. Do I actually want more friends, or do I just want to spend more quality time with the ones that I love? It's probably
I think for me, I just want connection. That's what I yearn for, I think. You know, coming back to this me being on my own piece. Sometimes I'll just go up to the pub on a Friday after work sort of time, just because I want to be around people. I'm a people person. If I've been stuck in my studio all day doing stuff, I just want to be around people. And the quickest, easiest way to do that is go to the pub, because there are people there that I know on a Friday. We have a pint. But that means that now I've had beer. I mean, you can go in a pub and not drink beer, of course.
But when you say connection, like my definition of connection is probably different to yours. I'm really curious, like, if you pulled apart connection, what does that mean to you? Like, what do you need to go out and get by way of connection?
Good question. Well, the connection I get in a pub is banter, conversation.
So you'd actually be speaking to these people. You wouldn't just have to be in the space with them.
Yeah, I go to my local pub and the barman, or bar person, whoever's behind the bar. All right, Jamie, usual. You know, there's that. You know, I feel at home there. It's like there's my tribe. You know, we know this word tribe as coaches. They're my tribe, and the caveat comes with alcohol in the space. So I'm not going to get listened to very well, because these people have been drinking beer or wine or whatever. So they're not quite tuned in to listen to me. So I don't get that level of connection. I guess I'm just there for fun, banter, bit of a laugh. How's your week been? All of that stuff. Your question was, what does connection mean?
Well, my question was actually, because you say very specifically, like, I need to go out and get connection because I'm a people person. I want connection. Like, you've just described one circumstance where you can get that. Could you then go to a Spoons and speak to no one, but be amongst people and still feel a sense of connection in some way, or not?
No. I can go into a pub where I don't know anyone, which I love to do. I love to go sit on a bench at a pub and just watch people and listen and take the world in and have a couple of pints. Nice thing to do. But that's not somewhere where I'd go and get connection, because I'd feel alone again. I'd feel like, all these people, look at that table full of people who all know each other, having a nice time. I was in Spoons a couple of weeks ago and I was getting a drink, and this woman did say, I said to her something first, being Jamie, I said, cool, that's a large gin for 3:00 in the afternoon. What do you think I was going to say?
Who knows? I was like, many things.
Fill the
gap. Like a fruit machine.
And she said, like a fruit machine. She said, yeah, I've just retired today.
Oh, wow.
And I went, oh, congratulations. She went, yeah, it's a double. That's why all drinks in Wetherspoons are doubles, aren't they? And she went, yeah. Much. I said, are you in for the afternoon? She said, yeah, do you want to join me? And I went, yeah, all right. We'll go and sit out the back, sit in the garden in the sun. It was really nice. I had a really nice connection, completely out of the blue. I instigated it and said something. So it is possible.
You see, you're doing that thing where you're doing the brave bit. You're rising up, and you're coming from a place of vulnerability, because she could have said no. It's a bit like dating. Could have said no, could have rejected you, but you're willing to risk it. And I think people recognize that and go, do you know what? I'm going to lean into that because he was brave. I can be brave too. Yeah. And we all love connection in some way.
Yeah, exactly right. It was a risk. And actually, I don't have, it's been proven to me so many times that risks pay off, especially in connection moments like that. I'll speak to anybody. I'll have a conversation with anybody. And I like to bring people in, like the waitress or the waiter, person on the bus, whoever it is, you know. And all you got to do is ask their name. And as soon as you ask their name, that's it. You're in. You're connected.
So what do you make more important than the fear of rejection when you do that?
What do I make more important? I'm curious. My curiosity. Because that person has lived their life up until that point. And I want to know about that person's life. I was sat in my daughter's restaurant, Juliet, fancy restaurant. They've got a big bench outside and it overlooks the road and stuff. And this old guy came and he said, he was in his 80s. He kind of came and he said, do you mind if I sit here, son? I said, no, it's not my table. Come and sit down. What's your story? He said. I said, what do you mean, what's my story? He said, tell me a bit about you. I said, well, my name's Jamie. And we got chatting. This guy was fascinating. Turns out he works at Windsor Castle, was friends with the Queen. He is one of 3 in the world, this military position where he gets to stay at Buckingham Palace, at Windsor, in this cottage in the grounds. And he would see the Queen every day. They were friends till she died. Fascinating story. And he said, what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a coach. Why do you coach? I said, I coach men. He said, why do you coach men? I said, 12 men in the day. 12 men a day in the UK take their own life. He said, you know what? My wife's nephew took his own life just 3 weeks ago. And then down we go. We're going down into this. And he starts welling up and I start welling up. And then we start talking about what is it that has men get to the edge of feeling like they want to take their own life. I never met this guy before. And within 7 or 8 minutes, we're talking about this rich, deep meaning of life and what is it to be a man. And he's 80-something and I'm 50. And I start asking him questions like, what was it like growing up for you as a young lad? And he started to tell me about that and his dad and his relationship with his uncle. And he started tearing up again. And it was incredible. And these people are walking around everywhere all the time, right? These connections, these stories, these conversations that we can have with these other human beings, if we choose to be open to them, are everywhere.
That's the thing about powerful questions, isn't it? Like powerful questions as in, so you said your motivation was curiosity. So you're curious and you are curious, but I make up there's something else with that as well. So your curiosity gets you there to that degree of connection with those people. But also there's something behind it. I do notice like where we were talking about service people, where we're talking about those people on the bus. They're like this elderly fella. There's something about having some heart, having some compassion for the people who don't necessarily get seen normally or maybe are ignored, the outcasts, the outliers, it feels like. And those people that you want to shine a light on them. You want them to have a possibility of expressing what's important to them. Yeah. That's a beautiful thing about you, Jamie Robbins.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate that. So it's proven to me time and time again. And I crave it. I yearn it. I yearn for it. I yearn for those connections because that example there. And when I left the restaurant, because he went and sat with his wife and I met his son. His son came in, he was 50 and his girlfriend. And I walked through the restaurant and he went, hey, Jamie. And I turned around and he went, me and you are going to see each other again. Like that. I went, I bloody hope so. You're 87.
Hopefully it wasn't a threat.
And he laughed. He told me like he had mouth cancer, throat cancer. He had both his knees replaced, his elbow.
It's bonkers, isn't it?
Like, fuck me. Yeah, I hope I do see you again. Yeah, brilliant. Amazing. Well, this guy who sits down with blokes, with people on park benches on YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Everyone's got a story. Everyone's got a story.
And it just takes the modeling of it, doesn't it? And I think I've probably mentioned this before on one of the other Safe Harbour podcasts, actually. So I love it too. I do love that kind of saying hello, hi in the morning. And if you have a dog and you're a dog walker, it's the easiest thing in the world because dogs meet each other in that way. Then the humans attached to them come and do the same thing, don't they? Yeah. But I noticed if I go walking down on the south coast or something like that, I'll be out walking and then like people are walking the other way, whether you've got a dog or not. And it's like, morning.
Yeah.
And at first it's like, hey, you what?
Sorry, I'm from London.
But then literally within 5 minutes, I feel this thing rising up in me of like, I fucking miss that. I'm yearning for that. And I'm going to model it because they did. I'm going to model it with the next people who come. So I'm spying the people on the horizon getting bigger and bigger. And I'm like, I'm going to say good morning to you. And it's really cool.
And do you?
I do. Absolutely. I love it.
How does it make you feel?
Amazing. Full up, full of life, less alone. And then I try and take it home back up to London, South East London, and I try and model it. And it's incredibly hard because of this sense of like, well, culturally, we don't do that here.
Is that a blanket truth?
No, it's a story I make up because I know that when you come down and you're in South East London or wherever you are and you do it, people go pop, 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 and they completely respond, because we're all yearning for it, I think. They do say that about,
Yeah, sorry.
No, go on.
That for me, when I'm in London, it's whether I get received, whether they receive it and respond, great. If they don't and they blank me, great. Both for me are great because even if I go, all right, mate, how you doing? And he just walks straight by, he's now thinking about that as he walks down the thing going, that might just trigger something in him around connection. It might not.
I was going to ask you, how is that great, that part?
Yeah.
Now you've just explained it. Yeah, it's lovely.
It's disrupting the story again, isn't it?
Yeah,
I just disrupted his story. Yeah. Maybe. Because maybe that's the second or third time someone that said that to him that day or that week and he's not responded.
Yeah. So I think what you've done is you've disrupted things. That's great. Because, he's, or, there are other guys, aren't there, who mainly guys who do it walking down the street and say, oh, I love your fit, or I love that top, I love that shirt you're wearing, it looks fantastic. And it's almost like half of that you think, you don't actually mean that, do you? Because you're filming it and you're doing it to get it's an experiment, but it doesn't matter. It's kind of like, still they're like, oh, brilliant, you see me. Oh, thank you. Cheers.
Yeah.
There's something about it, the compliment bombing or whatever you want to call it. I think that's...
it's an invitation to say yes to life. I am an invitation to these people to say yes to vibrational, positive something. There's a guy that's doing this thing on Instagram now. He drives around in a black van that says something karaoke on the side, and he's filming it, and he's got a microphone, and he sticks his window, and he pulls up at a bus stop and goes, for this £10 note, he's northern, he sounds like Peter Kay, it's hilarious. For this £10, finish this line. Who wants to do it? And you just see people going, no. And then eventually someone goes, I'll do it. And he'll go, show me the way to Amarillo. And he puts the microphone out and they finish it. And you just see the whole bus stop light up with laughter. And he goes, yay, you want a tenner? He gives her the tenner and just drives off. He just goes around just doing this everywhere. Supermarkets. And some people say no. And he goes, all right, fair enough. Have a great day. And just drives off, puts the tenner back in the thing, And sometimes he'll go, well, for the tenner, or you can open one of these 5 mystery envelopes. And then he gives them, and they open the envelope, and it's a 40-inch TV, and he gets out the van, goes in the back of his van, and gives them a 40-inch TV.
Nicked, of course.
Probably, yeah.
But don't tell anyone, mate. Yeah, that's Margos. Yeah. I know a fella who knows a fella. Don't you worry about it.
Drive. But he's disrupting. I love it because he's disrupting this. The Matrix, almost. The Matrix does that. He's like jabbing the Matrix and just giving it a whoa, bringing joy and fun into people's flatline days.
Yeah,
connection. He's connecting. So, when we say, I don't know how to connect, and I don't have many friends. I got pals, but I don't have many friends. I think it's the risk of daring to open up, isn't it?
Yeah.
To open up.
I think it is.
Be seen, dare to say hello to someone, a complete stranger, and just ask their name. All right, mate, fancy a pint?
Well, I was just going to that, actually. I was just thinking, what would be an easy in for people who aren't personal development folks like us or coaches like us to be able to experiment with that without feeling like completely overwhelmed and the nervous system triggered? My sense is that if you go and buy a coffee from your local coffee shop, rather than just saying, oh, cheers, mate, say, I really like the way you made that coffee, or just offer a compliment that is specific to what you've just witnessed, as in an acknowledgement, like we call it in coaching, isn't it? It's like, I love how you did that. You look so focused on the work that you're doing. That's amazing. I can feel that is going to be a great coffee. Thank you.
Yeah, a compliment is so easy.
Yeah. So just to the regular person.
Sorry?
Yeah. I was just going to say, just to the regular guys who are thinking, I don't even know where to start. I'd feel a bit vulnerable or whatever. Maybe just issue an acknowledgement. Just acknowledge that person for something that they're doing for you within a shop context.
Yeah.
And just see how they light up.
You have a great smile.
Thank you.
Such an easy thing to say, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you go, you know what?
But that's vulnerable though, man. That's really vulnerable.
Is it?
For you, maybe not. For me, yeah.
It's vulnerable for who?
It will be vulnerable for me to say that because I think, do they think I'm hitting on them? What's going on there? For me, I'd need to point it to something that they are doing for me.
What's vulnerable about it?
Well, because am I hitting on them? Is open to rejection? No, I'm not gay, mate. Or, no, I don't want to date. No, I'm just saying you have an amazing smile.
So that's your stuff.
It is my stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting though, isn't it? That's your stuff.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the bit to shine the light on, isn't it?
That's the deeper
What is
work.
What is it that has me feel vulnerable? And again, it's that they. What will they think if I say this piece? Isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But that's why I was saying that if there's an exchange, like someone, I just purchased this from the guy at WH Smith's, like, can I look and find something in this thing that we're both looking at together, which isn't about them, which might be a bit too vulnerable? Like, oh, you did that really well. When you did this, I noticed that this was really cool and different. It wouldn't be buying a Sharpie.
I really love how you passed me that pen.
It was phenomenal. Look at the care and the attention. See, I actually bought a set of like 35 of these the other day.
I would find that more fucking weird than going,
well, I wouldn't do that. I'm showing you on camera. Aha.
You know what? You have a really lovely smile. Oh, thanks. By the way, I loved how you passed me that pen. What are you talking about, you fucking weirdo? Get out of my shop.
Well, those two together is pretty weird.
Police.
Officer, you have a beautiful smile.
Yeah, as they pass it to you, go like that. Oh, that's so nice how you passed me that pen. Fuck off. Get out of my shop.
Yeah. But as a takeaway, maybe just acknowledging like a little bit of interaction that you have with someone and just notice their face, notice how it kind of changes their day.
Yeah.
I find that an easier way in than your level of doing it.
Just dare to do something. But
do it first. Acknowledge first.
Acknowledge first? What do you mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, do it first. You have to be the brave one.
Oh, see.
You have to acknowledge it first.
Yeah, well, you've got a risk.
You know,
there's no risk. Nothing at risk apart from your own stuff, really. And the more times you do it, the more times you practice it, what happens is we build evidence that it's safe to do it. That's all that's happened to me over years and years and years. Because my parents didn't do that. It wasn't modeled to me. My parents are still really shy, and they would never ask a waitress. My dad goes, "Stop asking waitresses what their names are. It's weird." That's his. I go, "Dad, that's your stuff. I'm friendly. I like to know their name." Because then I'll go, "Tracy." She'll go, "Yeah. Can we get another bottle of wine?" She'll go, "Yeah, of course, Jamie."
He'll be like, "My name's not Tracy." Right? It's very clearly written on my badge.
Yeah. And my dad will go, "Yeah, I see your point. Because now Tracy's going to bring us a bottle of wine. We ain't got to wait because we're on first name terms."
So it's all about the free alcohol then?
It's always
Is that the underpinnings of it?
Always about the booze.
That's brilliant, man. It was so cool to talk about that. It's amazing.
Important, isn't it? It's connection. What we've been talking about today is, I think, connection, isn't it? And connection with ourselves, connection with other people. Because as human beings, that's all we really crave. And
we need it.
It's what makes us human, isn't it?
And safe. In connection, in tribe, together we're safe. Like alone, on our own, we're more susceptible to perishing. Is an underpinning kind of motivation for it all as well.
Fundamentally, yeah. Yeah, if we're out there in the wild on our own, then we could get eaten by something.
Not in South East London, mate.
Probably could. Nice one, brother.
Well, that was amazing. What a great conversation, man.
We're good at this, aren't we? We should do.
And we had a bunch of little questions we were going to ask each other, but just went out the window.
All go out the window. Yeah, we don't need those. Well, look, we should do this more often.
Yeah, we should do it again for sure.
The Safe Harbour.
It's kind of how we did it before, wasn't it? Like, Safe Harbour used to be, we'd have a question or a statement that we would talk about and then just let the conversation go off into that. And I think that worked really well.
Yeah, which points me to, which seamlessly, if you've not listened to any of the early episodes of me and Phil doing this, season 1, season 2, and season 3, wasn't it?
No, just I don't know who you've been two-timing me with. No,
it was season 1 and season 2. They're on
2.
Spotify. They're on iTunes. They're on all the other ones. They're also on my YouTube channel, at Jamie Robbins Coach or something like that.
You got to lock that down, man.
I should get a T-shirt with it on. That's why it's not taking off, isn't it? Because I don't even know the name of the channel. It's all in the show notes. Katie, one of my team, will do that. One of my team. Phil Askew, legend. Thanks, man. But always a pleasure. We check in with each other every day. We didn't even mention that in the podcast. We do WhatsApp check-in every day, and I have done for 5 years. Maybe we'll do another episode on that another time. Maybe like a shorter one. because that is a way of building friendship, really strong friendship.
It is.
I have actually done a video about that. It's a how-to video on my YouTube channel.
Yeah, I was just going to say the WhatsApp is like an incredible tool that you can utilize as long as you utilize it well. And, you have this little check-in approach with a really good friend. You can really start to share what's on your mind and really connect and really build some intimacy there with a good series of really good friends. So it's a powerful tool.
Yeah. If you've enjoyed this episode, go and watch all the others. Support this journey. Like my YouTube channel. There will be a link to it down there somewhere. Phil, thanks again, mate.
You're welcome.
You're a brilliant friend. You're not on that hand. You're on that hand.
That's the way to finish.
That's the way to finish. You are the number one. That's what I meant. You're my
That's
number
not number one. That's number one.
Right. Corpsing.
All right.
Let's go and corpse. Maybe
right.
should we go to Weatherspoons for a pint? How about that? Should we just keep
mentioning
Weatherspoons? We'll get a phone call from Weatherspoons saying, talk more about Weatherspoons. Wear this Weatherspoons t-shirt.
That'd be a very strange sponsorship, to be honest.
Yeah.
All right. It's been a real pleasure, mate. Yeah. Let's do it again soon.
See you next time, Safe Harbour.
Right.
See you, everyone.
Take care.
Bye. So, that's another episode of Safe Harbour. Thank you so much for being here and listening in on this amazing conversation. And if you enjoyed today's show, give us a follow, give us a like, and share this with another man who you think might need to have this conversation. Another new guest next time. Tune in. Have a great day, man. And remember, you are amazing, right?